A clogged toilet pays about the same as a college lecture. One takes 4 years to learn. The other takes 15 minutes and a strong stomach. This plumber started by carrying buckets for $16.23 an hour. One day, people would offer millions to buy the company. Most people only think about plumbers when something starts leaking, which is exactly why plumbers keep getting paid.
If you like breakdowns of how careers actually progress, like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one.
Level 1. The helper. You're not fixing anything yet. You're mainly transporting heavy objects from one inconvenient location to another. The plumber says, "Bring me the pipe wrench." You discover there are apparently 17 pipe wrenches. Your first lesson is simple. Everything in plumbing weighs more than expected. It's 28 degrees outside. The trench doesn't care. You're earning about $16.23 an hour. The mud is working overtime for free. Nobody notices plumbing when it works. Everybody notices when it doesn't. You spend half the day carrying tools, the other half looking for tools. The homeowner asks, "How much longer?" You have no idea. Neither does your boss. The crawl space is somehow smaller than yesterday. Your knees hurt. Your back hurts. You're 19. You start recognizing pipe sizes just by looking at them, a superpower nobody asked for. Your first lesson is simple. Before fixing plumbing, you must survive plumbing. Level 2. The apprentice. Congratulations! You now have an apprenticeship contract and slightly more responsibility. The pipes remain completely unimpressed. You're earning around $23.63 an hour. For the first time, the paycheck feels bigger than the lunch bill. Now, you don't just carry materials, you also carry blame. Every fitting costs money. Every mistake costs more. You learn the golden rule: measure twice, panic once. The helper asks where the tool is. You suddenly become the expert, a terrifying promotion. You start soldering copper. Nothing makes you respect fire faster. One leak means redoing the whole thing. Gravity always attends quality control inspections. Homeowners ask, "Can you fix it today?" The building asks, "Can you fix it correctly?" You begin reading plumbing code books. Somehow they're less exciting than they sound. For the first time, you install something that actually works. You spend 10 minutes admiring it. The journeyman says, "Looks good." That compliment is worth more than cash. You start understanding systems instead of individual pipes. The house becomes one giant puzzle. People think plumbing is about water. It's actually about preventing water from becoming everyone's problem. Your second lesson is simple. Anyone can tighten a fitting. Professionals understand why it's there. Level 3. The journeyman. You're no longer following instructions. Now you're giving them. The average journeyman earns around $62,970 a year. In some unions, the package gets much bigger. Customers stop asking for your boss. They ask for you. The helper brings the wrong tool. You suddenly remember your own helper days. You can diagnose problems before opening the wall, which feels suspiciously close to magic. A strange noise, a weak drain, a pressure issue. The clues are everywhere. Most customers see one pipe. You see the entire system. Now the apprentice asks questions all day. The cycle continues. You install water heaters worth thousands of dollars. No pressure, literally lots of pressure. A small mistake can flood a house. A good installation lasts decades. Your truck becomes a rolling warehouse. Half the challenge is finding things inside it. You start training younger workers. Then you realize they remind you of yourself. You finally know what you're doing, most of the time. The real difference isn't skill, it's consistency. Your third lesson is simple. Experience is when mistakes become expensive memories instead of daily events. Level 4. The master. Now you're not just fixing plumbing. You're legally responsible for it. Your signature suddenly matters. A lot. The apprentice worries about fittings. You worry about lawsuits. One permit can affect an entire building. No pressure. Actually, lots of pressure. Inspectors stop asking, "Who installed this?" They ask, "Who approved this?" A bad installation costs money. A bad decision costs years. You've spent years learning code. Now code pays you back. Homeowners think you're expensive. Water damage thinks you're cheap. You don't install every pipe anymore. You make sure every pipe gets installed correctly. Problems arrive at your desk before they reach the building. That's the goal. You start seeing projects measured in hundreds of fixtures, not one kitchen sink. The helper carries buckets. The apprentice carries tools. The master carries responsibility. People think experience makes work easier. It mostly makes mistakes less acceptable. By now, you've solved problems that don't even have names. Your fourth lesson is simple. Authority is just responsibility wearing a nicer shirt. Level 5. The sales tech or the owner. This is where the trade splits in two directions: tools or business. The service call starts the same. The invoice does not. You replace a cartridge that costs $35. The customer pays $380 installed. The customer isn't paying for the part. They're paying for knowing which part. The best sales techs can earn over $250,000 a year, which suddenly makes plumbing sound very interesting. Some plumbers hate selling. Others discover they are surprisingly good at it. Every conversation becomes part diagnosis, part psychology. People buy trust before they buy repairs. Meanwhile, some plumbers take a different path: ownership. You hire your first employee. Suddenly, somebody else's alarm clock becomes your problem. You hire a second truck, then a third, then a fourth. Revenue climbs, so do headaches. The plumbing gets easier, the business gets harder. At this level, your wrench earns less money than your decisions. Your fifth lesson is simple. The biggest pipe in the company is cash flow.
Level 6. The Contractor. You crossed the $1 million revenue mark. Nobody throws a parade. The company has dozens of employees. Every one of them has problems, usually before 8 a.m. One truck breaks down. Another technician calls in sick. A customer wants a discount. It's only Tuesday. Back when you were a helper, you worried about carrying buckets. Now you worry about payroll. The company may generate millions. The bank account occasionally disagrees. Customers see a plumbing truck. You see insurance, fuel, maintenance, payroll, marketing, taxes, and headaches. A technician completes a service call. The company completes 50. You spend less time fixing leaks, more time fixing people problems. The business now operates without you touching a wrench, which feels strange. The systems matter more than the tools. The best contractors build companies. The smartest build companies that run without them. Revenue reaches several $1 million. Stress reaches several $1 million too. Your employees solve plumbing problems. You solve company problems. For the first time, you're not buying tools, you're buying competitors. Your sixth lesson is simple. A contractor stops selling plumbing, he starts selling systems. Level 7. The exit. Then comes the level nobody talks about when they're digging trenches. The exit. Private equity isn't interested in your wrench. They're interested in your cash flow. The company you built becomes an asset. One day, people start discussing your company using words like EBITDA, multiples, platform acquisition. Nobody mentioned these words back when you were cleaning mud from a trench. Clockwork Home Services sold for approximately $183 million. The trenches did not get any smaller. The numbers got much bigger. Since 2022, private equity firms have completed hundreds of acquisitions across the trades. At the very top, plumbing becomes something unexpected: finance. The richest person in the room might not be the best plumber. He might be the person who owns the plumbers. From a frozen trench and $16.23 an hour to boardrooms, acquisitions, and 9-figure deals, the final lesson is simple. The peak isn't plumbing. The peak is who owns the plumber. Final beat. Most people see a plumber and think about pipes.
They don't see the licenses, the apprenticeships, the years, or the risk. They definitely don't see the private equity presentation. The strange thing about plumbing is that water always flows downhill. Money doesn't. And that's every level of a plumber's career in America.